One question I often get asked by people in your industry is, how can I have more engaging meetings? How can I nail that delivery meeting? How can I bring the most value to that discovery meeting? You need to learn the chemistry of emotion. Let's face it, money is emotional. Getting people to make decisions is emotional. Asking people to change is emotional. We need to know the chemistry of emotion, because communication is all about chemistry, right? I mean, you've all been in that meetings, you've come out of those meetings, and it's like, you feel like Alexander Fleming must have felt when he discovered penicillin. You have cured everybody's ills, you've fixed everybody's problems, everything is fabulous. They are ready to sign on the dotted line. Then you've got those other meetings. Those meetings where you may have said the exact same things. And all of a sudden you start to get this whiff of a toxic fumes starting to fester in your communication test tube. Something is bubbling up. Smoke is starting to form. It's getting bubblier and bubblier, and then things spew. Things like challenging questions. Things like objections. Things like downright disagreement. And then sometimes you get this closed mouth, I can't wait till this meeting is over look. You've all had those, right? So what happened? Something that you said or did, something that you didn't do or didn't say, something that your listener had for lunch. But somehow, that listener's brain has started to flood with that toxic stress hormone. That stress hormone is bubbling up in your communication test tube and is threatening to derail that meeting. So what do? You need to find a way to neutralize that stress hormone. You need a formula. I have a formula. I'm going to give it to you today. It's called my love formula. Now don't worry, it has nothing to do with any inappropriate behavior. It's love, L-U-V-E. Listen, understand, validate, and explore. How does it work? Okay, so you hear an objection spew out of the test tube. First thing you want to do is listen. Now, I know we've all heard all of those listening skills, like repeating back and nodding and saying an agreement and all that. I mean, those are all great. I'm not knocking those, but that's not the kind of listening I'm talking about. When you hear a possibly hazardous objection, you want to listen deeper. It's a deeper level of listening. You want to listen for that fear that's under the objection. You want to listen for the question underneath that question. Because that's what's driving all of those stress hormones from forming. So you listen, and just a while ago we talked about the different communication styles. We talked about how each style has their own needs, how each style is threatened by certain things. So what you are listening for when something is interrupting your communication, what you are listening for is what fear has been triggered. What need of theirs is not being met. So you quickly want to assess that. Then once you have listened, you want to say something that shows that you understand. That you understand where they're coming from. Now, understanding does not mean that you have to agree with them. No, it just means that you understand where they're coming from. Because what happens when people feel understood? When people feel understood, they start to secrete the feel-good hormones. And those feel-good hormones start to drip into your communication test tube, start to dilute the stress hormone. And then once that dilution starts, you then say something that validates their point. You validate them again. You find one piece of what they've said that is right. You can always find one little piece that's right. People love to feel like they're right. So you tell them, yeah, you're right. What does that do? More feel-good hormones dripping into that test tube. And so you are diluting it. And so you are diluting it even more. You're neutralizing their stress reaction. And now you just might be talking to someone who can actually hear you versus someone who is struggling and listening from the lizard or monkey brain. And now you're ready to explore. And you can explore by asking an exploratory question like, now, if we did this, how would we have the resources for that? And you can explore by expressing a differing opinion, a different thought, your point of view, your counter-objection. And that's how you get through that listening.